Good morning, guys. It's 8:30 in the morning right now. We're just sitting here waiting on some pipe, and yeah, it's about 11 degrees outside. This morning I got thinking about it. Maybe I got a lot of questions on how to find jobs, how to go about finding a job. Guys, number one, I'm going to tell you, finding a job in the oil field is all about building relationships. You will find more jobs by knowing people than you ever will by turning in a resume. Honest fact, I have turned in hundreds of resumes. My wife hates me because I've had her help me so many times, but I have turned in a ton of resumes, and I have never made money ever on a resume. In the oil industry, in the oil field, in the welding industry, it's all about who you know and how good you are. For new guys starting out, I would say your biggest thing is going to be Googling and using your phone, using your smartphones to Google oil field companies, start calling people, ask who you need to get a hold of, who you need to talk to. And a lot of companies are not going to give you the people that they need to talk to. Guys, Facebook, quit getting on Facebook and wasting your time on Facebook. Get on there to start meeting other welders. Get on there to start meeting all the superintendents. LinkedIn. You can go to LinkedIn on my account, Jacob Schofield, and you can find me on there. I'm friends with tons of welders on there. You need to get out of your comfort zone and actually start talking to people, start building relationships with people, and quit sending resumes. I mean, resumes are such a waste of freaking time. It ain't even funny. I mean, if I ran a company, the person I would hire is the guy that showed up on the job, had a truck, and, you know, demonstrated that he could weld, which is the weld test. He's going to have to go take a weld test. And then he's hired. I ain't going to go look at 300 resumes, how many ever freaking resumes there is. I don't give a damn all your credentials. I don't care if you've been to school. I don't care any of that. I want to know the guy that's going to show up on the job, take a test, can pass the test. He's the one I want working for me. Simple as that. Guys, in my past videos, when I talk about welding schools or welder helpers, so the reason I recommend doing the welder helper deal is mostly for the relationships. Now, don't get me wrong, you're going to be in school with 40 people that are all hopefully eventually going to be welders, and I mean, you need to start getting their numbers. I mean, if that's the route you go and you're going to go to school, before you leave, I mean, I know in Pocatello that's a 4-semester school. There's probably 20 kids a semester. When you show up, you're a freshman. 20 kids per, so freshman, sophomore, junior, you know what, I don't know how that works, but per semester there's going to be about 20 kids. By the end of that deal, you should have everybody's phone number from when you show up to school. All of those guys, as you walk through the freaking school, you should start getting everybody's phone numbers that's underneath you. By the time you leave, you should have a mountain of phone numbers. And then as you go from job to job, start collecting all these phone numbers, start meeting these people. If you're looking for a job, and like, say you're looking for like a welder helper position, gas stations, I would show up to gas stations. I would show up to like restaurants, bars and cafes. I would show up to all these places that you know a welder is gonna be. Campgrounds are a great place to be. A lot of these welders pull their fifth wheels with them, and you can tell exactly where they're staying because their truck's going to be parked right out front of their fifth wheel, and you can go in there and talk to them and get their numbers, learn who they are, and start building relationships that way. Guys, the more people you know, and this goes for any industry, the more people you know, the more valuable you're going to be, and the easier time it's going to be for you to get a job, basically. I had an old guy tell me one time, who is more valuable, the guy that has 10 friends or the guy that has 500 friends? I mean, hands down, he might not know nothing, but he's got 500 friends that possibly know something, you know? So the more people you know, the more relationships you start to build, the easier it's going to be for you to find a job. If you're just starting out, I would do that. I would go to campgrounds and start hitting all these places that a welder is going to be, and go talk to them, go meet them, and get their phone number. Eventually, they might know us something down the road. But other than trying to build relationships, you got to start using you got to start using your smartphone like it's supposed to be used. Quit getting on there and entertaining yourself. And you know, I mean, if you're gonna get a smartphone, start Googling all these oil field companies. Google it to make yourself money. Always be looking up things. I mean, in the oil industry, a job ends. This is not a steady job. You are unemployed about every 3 or 4 months, unless you get on something really like stellar, and then you might be there for a year. But you need to always be looking up companies, talking to people, building these relationships, and eventually you're going to get laid off, and you're going to know exactly where to go next, and then you're going to get laid off there, and you're going to go to the next place. That's the only way you can make this kind of money. Is you have got to start building these relationships, just really stay on top of what the industry is doing. I mean, this industry expands all over the world. If you want to go to Iraq and go weld, you can go to Iraq and go weld. They'll probably pay you a lot of money to go over there, because you might not come back. But there's always somewhere that a welder is needed. And man, that's probably the best tips I got for finding a job. Dang. Man, you guys are more than welcome to come find me on Facebook or LinkedIn, or I know you've already found me on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, just whatever. You know, if you guys have questions, I'll build videos or whatever to try to answer them. I don't know if this helped any, but that's how I go about finding all my work. I've given up the resume deal. Resumes are a complete waste of time. I mean, there is no reason to turn in a resume. You need to start. Everybody talks about branding. Buckle jeans is a brand. Cinch jeans are a brand. You know, everybody's talking about branding. You need to start branding your name. When people hear Jake Schofield, not very many people know me, but the people that do know me know that I'm a welder, that I can weld, that I'm fast, and that I'm good at what I do. And when a job comes up, I've met enough people that, you know, I start getting phone calls, and they're going to be like, hey, listen, I got a position. We'd like you to come weld for us for a few weeks or a few months or whatever. Start branding your name. Your name is everything in this industry. If you go around being a grumpy ass all the time, you will not work that much. I mean, you need to show up to work, be happy, go to work, do your thing, go home, and always have a good attitude, and people are going to start calling you, and eventually it's going to be to the point of where people will start calling you regularly, looking and trying to see if you're welding or if you're not welding, and they're going to call you looking for jobs, and you're going to call them looking for jobs. So always be building that relationship. But anyways, guys, like, subscribe, comment. Everybody have a blessed day, and I got to go out and go weld. Actually, they just showed up with that pipe, so we'll talk to everybody later. Thanks.